Discovery and deception. The observation room beneath Mount Denali hummed with activity as director Naomi Jackson studied the holographic displays floating before her. Countless dots of light representing alien vessels hovered at the edge of the solar system. For 2 centuries, humanity had known they were being watched, evaluated, judged, and found wanting. Movement in Sector 7, announced Strategic Commander Victor Ockhaffer, his fingers dancing across the transparent console. 3 more vessels have joined the observation cluster beyond Neptune. Jackson nodded, her silver-streaked hair catching the blue glow of the displays. At 63, she had spent nearly 4 decades in Project Lighthouse, the ultra-classified global initiative that monitored the Watchers. That makes 17 new arrivals this month. Something's changed in their assessment. The massive underground complex, officially a deep Earth geological research facility, served as the nerve center for humanity's greatest secret. While the world above argued about climate policies and resource allocation, 5,000 of Earth's brightest minds worked tirelessly to prepare for the day the aliens would make their move. "Director, you need to see this," called Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, head of the Quantum Technology Division. His usually calm demeanor had given way to barely contained excitement. "We've decrypted more of their communications. They're calling an emergency session of something called the Oversight Council." Jackson crossed to his station, followed closely by General Marcus Rivera of the United Earth Defense Force. The stocky, battle-hardened veteran had never fully trusted the stealth approach, but had dedicated his life to building humanity's hidden fleet nonetheless. "What are they saying about us now?" Rivera asked, his voice a low rumble. Tanaka brought up a translation matrix. "They're worried. A species called the Vexoran is pushing for immediate intervention. Their probability models show us achieving something called quantum singularity within decades." "They're not wrong," Jackson said softly. The truth was more complicated than even their observers knew. 243 years ago, a young physicist had detected anomalous energy signatures beyond Pluto. Instead of announcing the discovery, she had been brought into what would become Project Lighthouse. Since then, humanity had maintained a careful deception, a technological facade that hid their true progress. While the world saw conventional rockets and orbital stations, deep beneath the lunar surface and within hollowed-out asteroids, quantum drives and gravity manipulation technologies were being perfected. Earth presented a fractured, squabbling civilization while secretly building a unified defense force with capabilities that would shock their observers. "They're preparing to move against us," Tanaka continued, scrolling through the decrypted data. "The Vexoran faction has convinced enough council members that we represent an existential threat." General Rivera straightened. "Then it's time. Operation Thunderbolt is ready." Jackson nodded slowly. "Alert all commands. Maintain Deception Protocol Omega until they make their move. Then, and only then, we show them what humanity is truly capable of." Aboard the massive Commonwealth Station Eternal Accord, First Overseer Nilith of the Zinthari gazed through multifaceted eyes at the holographic representation of Earth. In his 8 centuries of life, he had observed dozens of potential member species, but none had proven as contradictory as humans. "Your arguments lack foundation, Vexoran Prime," Nilith said, addressing the insectoid being across the circular chamber. "Humanity has shown no signs of detecting our presence. Their technology remains primitive by our standards." Vexoran Prime KL Taxic clicked his mandibles in frustration, the translator converting his speech to the Commonwealth's standard language. "Your assessment ignores the acceleration curve. Their computational development has increased by a factor of 23 in just the last cycle. The probability matrices are clear. They will achieve breakthrough within 50 orbital periods of their world." The chamber, filled with representatives of the 48 member species of the Galactic Commonwealth, buzzed with concerned murmurs. For 17 centuries, the Commonwealth had maintained peace through careful management of emerging civilizations. Some were welcomed. Others, deemed too aggressive or unpredictable, were carefully guided towards self-destruction or stagnation. "I have reviewed your data," interjected delegate Moros of the crystalline lumidari, light refracting through his transparent form. Your conclusions rely on extrapolations that assume no plateau in their development curve. Such plateaus have been observed in 87% of monitored species. KL Taxic's compound eyes flashed with bioluminescent anger. By the time we confirm whether humans will plateau, it may be too late. Their history shows a species that turns scientific discovery into weaponry with alarming speed. The debate had raged for weeks as Commonwealth observation posts reported increasing sophistication in Earth's quantum physics research. What the observers couldn't know was that the breakthroughs they detected were carefully orchestrated leaks from decades-old technology, breadcrumbs laid out to project a specific image of humanity's capabilities. We must act decisively, KL Taxic continued. A targeted intervention to remove their primary research facilities and leadership centers would set them back generations, enough time to establish proper control mechanisms. You propose violating our most sacred principle, Nilith countered. Non-interference until a species achieves unified governance and controlled technological development. I propose preserving the Commonwealth, KL Taxic responded. One exception to save 48 civilizations. The vote, when it came, was closer than any in Commonwealth history. By a margin of 7 delegates, the motion for preemptive stabilization of Earth passed. The euphemism didn't mask the reality. Invasion had been authorized. Dawn broke over Geneva as First Secretary Haruki Yamamoto addressed the United Earth Council. Unlike Project Lighthouse personnel, most council members believed they were simply governing Earth's official space initiatives. The Titan mining colony reports a 30% increase in helium-3 extraction this quarter, Yamamoto was saying when his aide hurried in, face pale. The message was simple: Lighthouse signals midnight. Yamamoto didn't miss a beat. Ladies and gentlemen, I must call a brief recess. Planetary security protocol demands your immediate relocation to designated shelters. Across Earth, similar scenes played out as government officials, military personnel, and key civilians were moved to hardened underground facilities. To the Commonwealth observers, it would appear as standard civil defense drills, one of humanity's many peculiarities given their lack of external threats. In reality, Operation Thunderbolt was commencing. Deep beneath Lake Vostok in Antarctica, Lieutenant General Nadia Petrova activated the global defense grid. Similar commands echoed from hidden bases on Mars, Europa, and throughout the asteroid belt. All Sentinel platforms online, reported Technical Director Wei Zhang. Quantum disruptors charged and ready. On screens throughout the command center, they watched as Commonwealth vessels emerged from jump points throughout the solar system. Elegant, curved ships that seemed to flow through space rather than simply travel through it. 173 vessels detected, announced Tactical Officer James Rodriguez. Formation consistent with standard Commonwealth peacekeeping deployments. Petrova's expression remained impassive. They're not here for peace. Right on cue, the Commonwealth fleet deployed into attack positions around Earth, their weapons systems charging. To the aliens, this moment represented the culmination of months of planning. A swift, overwhelming show of force designed to subdue a potentially dangerous species before they could threaten galactic stability. What they couldn't know was that humanity had prepared for this moment for generations. As the Commonwealth flagship Harmonious Justice positioned itself over North America, its commander, Fleet Admiral Terravin of the Alganar, opened a broadcast channel to Earth. People of Earth, the translated message began, your world has been placed under the protection of the Galactic Commonwealth. Resistance will. The message cut off as reality itself seemed to tear open around the Commonwealth fleet. Not the smooth, controlled jump points used by Commonwealth vessels, but jagged, lightning-edged rents in the fabric of space-time. Through these wounds poured humanity's hidden fleet, angular vessels of dark composite materials that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. Unlike the elegant Commonwealth ships, these were unmistakably warships, Their design focused on function over form. "Impossible," exclaimed Admiral Terravin as alarms blared across his command deck. "They have no such capability." A calm voice responded over the Commonwealth's own communication network. "Actually, Admiral, we've had these capabilities for quite some time." In the command center beneath Denali, Director Jackson stood beside her communications officer. "This is Director Naomi Jackson of Earth's Unified Defense Initiative. We detected your observation posts 237 years ago. We've been watching you watch us." The Commonwealth vessels attempted to bring weapons to bear, but before they could fire, the human ships launched strange, spiraling projectiles. Upon contact with the alien vessels, cascading waves of quantum disruption spread across their hulls, shutting down systems in rapid succession. "What have you done?" demanded Terravin as his ship's lights dimmed and control systems failed. "Quantum entanglement disruptors," Jackson explained calmly. "They create a localized field where technology above a certain complexity simply takes a nap. Don't worry, basic life support remains functional." Within minutes, the mighty Commonwealth Armada hung helpless in Earth's orbit, their crews watching in stunned silence as smaller human vessels began attaching tether lines to their ships. In Antarctica, General Petrova allowed herself a small smile. "Phase 1 complete. Operation Avalanche is ready for your command, Director." Jackson nodded, her eyes on the disabled alien fleet. "Not yet. First, we talk." She opened a channel to every Commonwealth vessel simultaneously. "Representatives of the Galactic Commonwealth, your vessels will be escorted to holding positions in lunar orbit. Earth will be sending diplomatic envoys to discuss terms with your leadership." The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was taking the initiative. The Watchers had become the watched, the judges now stood judged, and the galaxy was about to learn that humanity would not be underestimated again. As citizens emerged from shelters to point at the alien ships being towed across the sky, few understood the full implications of what had just occurred. Humanity hadn't just repelled an invasion. They had announced their presence to the galaxy in the most emphatic way possible. The Commonwealth had come to conquer Earth. Humanity had just conquered the stars, diplomacy and dominance. The emergency conclave aboard the Commonwealth Station Eternal Accord descended into chaos. Representatives from all 48 member species gathered in the vast assembly chamber, their voices rising in a cacophony of accusations, demands, and increasingly desperate proposals. "They disabled our most advanced vessels with technology we've never even theorized." The translator rendered K.L. Taxic's frantic clicks into Commonwealth Standard, but couldn't mask the underlying panic. "Our probability matrices failed to predict this level of advancement." First Overseer Nilith watched the pandemonium with ancient, weary eyes. The Zinthari elder had opposed the invasion, but even he hadn't anticipated humanity's response. "This outcome was inevitable from the moment we chose deception over diplomacy," he said, his luminescent skin pulsing with colors of disappointment. "We violated our most sacred principles." Grand Minister Thelos of the gaseous Varil floated in her containment field, releasing pheromones that indicated profound distress. "The humans have demanded a delegation meet them at coordinates beyond their lunar orbit. We must decide who will represent the Commonwealth." "It's clearly a trap," insisted war strategist Morovin of the silicon-based Lith. "They demonstrated tactical superiority, now they seek to capture our leadership." Nilith's skin rippled with colors of determination. "No, if they wanted to destroy us, they would have done so already. I will lead the delegation myself." "That is precisely what they want," K.L. Taxic argued, mandibles clicking furiously. "Our highest authority delivered into their hands." "What they want," Nilith replied with quiet dignity, "is respect, something we failed to give them from the beginning." The diplomatic vessel Accord's Promise approached the designated coordinates with caution. Through the viewports, the Commonwealth delegation could see the Earth-Moon system, surprisingly beautiful in its simplicity. Ahead floated a structure that hadn't existed days before, a massive hexagonal station constructed of the same light-absorbing material as the human warships. Remarkable, murmured Science Director Alara of the Aquatic Mersenne. They built this in less than a standard cycle. First Overseer Nyleth nodded solemnly. Another indication of capabilities we failed to recognize. The Commonwealth ship docked with gentle precision. As the airlock cycled, the delegation prepared to face humanity's representatives. None knew what to expect. The airlock opened to reveal a surprisingly austere conference chamber. At a crescent-shaped table sat 3 humans, a stark contrast to the 12-member Commonwealth delegation. Director Naomi Jackson sat at the center, flanked by General Marcus Rivera, and a woman the Commonwealth database identified as Dr. Olivia Reyes, Earth's foremost expert in xenobiology and cultural anthropology. "Welcome to Nexus Station," Jackson said, rising. "I am Director Naomi Jackson of Earth's Unified Defense Initiative. Thank you for accepting our invitation." Nyleth stepped forward, his skin shifting to formal greeting colors. "I am First Overseer Nyleth of the Galactic Commonwealth. We come seeking understanding and resolution to our unfortunate first contact." Jackson's expression remained neutral. "First contact occurred 237 years ago when your observation posts entered our solar system. What happened 3 days ago was an invasion, one we were prepared to meet." The accusation hung in the air, undeniable and damning. Nyleth's skin darkened with shame. "You are correct, Director Jackson. The Commonwealth failed to honor its own principles regarding emerging civilizations. The decision to intervene was controversial. Yet made nonetheless," Rivera noted dryly. Jackson gestured to the seats. "Please, let us discuss the path forward rather than dwell on past mistakes." As the delegation settled, holographic displays activated, showing the status of the disabled Commonwealth fleet now in stable orbit around Earth's moon. "Your vessels are unharmed," Jackson explained. "Crew life support functions remain at optimal levels. The quantum disruption field can be reversed once we reach an agreement." "And what terms does Earth demand?" asked K.L. Taxic, unable to keep the bitterness from his translated voice. Dr. Reyes spoke for the first time, her voice calm and measured. "We don't seek punitive measures, but rather guarantees and recognition. Earth requires 3 things: formal acknowledgement of our sovereignty, full Commonwealth membership with all associated rights and protections, and accountability for those who advocated for our destruction." The Commonwealth representatives exchanged shocked glances. Not retribution, not territorial demands, but membership. "This is unexpected," Nyleth admitted. "You wish to join the very organization that sought to subjugate you." Jackson leaned forward, her eyes intense. "The Commonwealth's principles are sound. It's their application that failed in our case. We've studied your civilization for centuries. We know that the majority of your species live in peace and prosperity under Commonwealth law. We don't wish to destroy that." "But make no mistake," Rivera added, "Earth will not accept second-class status. We enter as equals or not at all." In the underground command center beneath Mount Denali, Technical Director Wei Zhang monitored the diplomatic exchange from Earth. Beside him, Lieutenant General Nadia Petrova studied the holographic displays showing the Commonwealth's home systems, information extracted from the captured vessels' databases. "They're stalling," Petrova observed as she watched the delegation debate among themselves. "The Vexoran faction believes this is all a bluff, that we couldn't possibly maintain our technological advantage across an interstellar theater." Zhang smiled thinly. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order. Operation Avalanche awaits only Director Jackson's command." On the main screen, they watched as Jackson touched a small device on her wrist. The signal was received instantly across quantum-entangled particles. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations activated. On Mars, beneath Europa's ice, and in the heart of hollowed asteroids, massive quantum gateways hummed to life. Technology the Commonwealth believed was centuries beyond humanity's reach. Aboard Nexus Station, The negotiations paused as Jackson received confirmation. With a subtle nod to Rivera, she addressed the Commonwealth delegation once more. To demonstrate our sincerity and capability, we've prepared a small demonstration. The holographic display shifted to show the outer solar system. Before the stunned eyes of the Commonwealth representatives, space itself folded as hundreds of human vessels emerged simultaneously from quantum gateways. "Impossible," whispered Science Director Alara. "Such coordinated quantum tunneling would require computational power beyond anything in the Commonwealth." "And yet," Rivera said with quiet pride, "here we are." The display zoomed out further, revealing similar quantum events occurring near key Commonwealth observation posts throughout the neighboring star systems. Within moments, every Commonwealth monitoring station within 50 light-years was surrounded by human vessels. "We've known the location of every Commonwealth installation in this sector for decades," Jackson explained. "We could have destroyed them at any time. Instead, we watched and learned." First Overseer Nyleth's skin had gone pale, the Zinthari equivalent of shock. "How did you accomplish this without detection?" Dr. Reyes smiled for the first time. "You were looking for radio waves, fusion rockets, and fission weapons, the hallmarks of an industrializing species. Meanwhile, we developed quantum technology along a completely different path than the Commonwealth. You didn't see it because you weren't looking for it." K.L. Taxic's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. "The Vexoran probability matrix?" It predicted humanity would achieve quantum singularity within 50 cycles. "We assumed that meant you were approaching the threshold." "We crossed that threshold a century ago," Jackson said calmly, "while maintaining the appearance of a divided, technologically developing world." The revelation sent ripples of shock through the Commonwealth delegation. The implications were staggering, not just for the current crisis, but for the Commonwealth's entire approach to emerging civilizations. "The vote to invade Earth was a profound error," Nyleth acknowledged, his skin now showing colors of reconciliation. "On behalf of the Commonwealth, I offer our deepest apologies and accept your terms for membership." Jackson nodded. "Then let us proceed to the details. Earth will require seats on all major Commonwealth councils, including the Oversight Committee." "That would be unprecedented for a new member species," protested Representative Moros of the Lumidari. "As is our method of introduction," Rivera countered. "We enter as equals or not at all." The negotiations continued for hours, the Commonwealth delegation gradually accepting the new reality. Humanity wasn't asking permission to join galactic society. They were announcing their arrival as a major power. 3 weeks later, Director Jackson stood before the United Earth Council in the newly constructed Planetary Assembly in Geneva. Above, Commonwealth vessels, now released from quantum disruption, shared orbit with human ships in a tentative show of cooperation. "The Commonwealth's High Council has ratified the Treaty of Luna," Jackson announced to thunderous applause. "As of today, Earth is formally recognized as the 49th member world of the Galactic Commonwealth, with full voting rights on all councils." Secretary Yamamoto stepped forward, and the accountability measures. "Vexoran Prime K.L. Taxic and 6 other officials who orchestrated the invasion have been removed from their positions," Jackson confirmed. "The Commonwealth has agreed to a full review of its first contact protocols." From her position at the side of the chamber, General Petrova watched with mixed emotions. The diplomatic victory was complete, but she knew better than most that peace was always precarious. "You don't look satisfied, General," observed Dr. Zhang, joining her. "The Commonwealth underestimated us once," Petrova replied quietly. "They won't make that mistake again, and there are 47 other species now watching Earth very carefully." Zhang nodded, "which is why Operation Lighthouse remains active, trust but verify." On the main floor, Jackson was concluding her address. "Today marks not just Earth's introduction to the galactic community, but the beginning of a transformation. The Commonwealth has maintained peace through careful management and, at times, manipulation. Earth offers a different vision, one of transparent cooperation and mutual advancement. In the private viewing gallery, First Overseer Nyleth watched with newfound respect. His aide leaned close, speaking in their native tongue. Is it wise to grant them such influence so quickly? The humans achieved in 3 weeks what takes most species centuries. Nyleth's skin rippled with colors of wry amusement. They achieved it in 237 years of patient preparation. I suspect we've only begun to discover what humanity is truly capable of. 1 month after Earth's admission to the Commonwealth, Captain Julian Mercer stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, humanity's first official diplomatic vessel. Before them stretched the swirling colors of the quantum tunnel that would take them to the Commonwealth capital world of Illuminar. Quantum drive stable, reported Navigation Officer Priya Sharma. Commonwealth escort vessels are maintaining formation. Mercer nodded, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. Begin final approach. As the Pathfinder entered the quantum tunnel, Mercer reflected on the irony of their situation. For centuries, humanity had prepared for war while hopping for peace. Now they had achieved both, demonstrating their martial capability while securing diplomatic recognition. In the ship's diplomatic quarters, Dr. Olivia Reyes finalized her cultural briefing materials. As Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Commonwealth, she understood the delicate balance they now walked. Humanity had entered galactic society not as supplicants, but as equals, a status earned through both wisdom and strength. Ambassador, her aide said, entering with a data tablet. We've received the final delegation list for the welcoming ceremony. 17 Commonwealth species have requested private audiences. Reyes smiled. They're curious about us. Good curiosity leads to understanding. As the Pathfinder emerged from the quantum tunnel into the Illuminar system, its crew gasped at the sight before them. The Commonwealth capital world gleamed like a jewel, surrounded by a halo of stations and ships representing dozens of civilizations. Captain Mercer activated the ship-wide communication system. Attention all personnel, we are making our final approach to Illuminar. As representatives of Earth, we carry the hopes and dreams of humanity with us. For centuries, we looked to the stars and prepared for this moment, not just to defend our world, but to take our place among the cosmos. On the main view screen, a message appeared from the Commonwealth Welcoming Committee. Welcome, Terrans, to the heart of galactic civilization. Mercer exchanged glances with his executive officer, Commander Diana Ortiz. Both knew that while this marked the end of Earth's isolation, it was merely the beginning of humanity's galactic journey. Send our response, Mercer ordered. Across the vastness of space, the simple message traveled. The Terran Federation thanks you for your welcome. We come in peace and partnership, ready to build a new future together. As the Pathfinder glided toward the massive Commonwealth docking station, silent watchers throughout the system observed the arrival of the newcomers. Some with hope, others with trepidation, but all with the certainty that the galaxy had forever changed. Humanity had prepared for war and achieved peace, but maintained the strength to defend both. The era of observation had ended. The age of partnership had begun.